What's up? What's up? What's up? Okay, so doing something a little bit different again. I'm slowly trying to figure out the tweaks and stuff and try to figure out how I can stream this with my shitty internet, but also provide a quality video. Let me tilt this just a just a hair, right? So what I've got going on is I'm streaming it through Restream, and that may be choppy. But what I plan to do is record this on my other screen. What's happening here? Because on my feed it's fine, it's clear, but on your feed it may be a little choppy. So we're going to record it there. We're going to record the screen share on my other screen, and then on my other channel, my personal channel, I'll upload some highlights or something like that, a more cut down, condensed version, and it'll be a clean stream, right? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try that this time around. We'll see how it works out. I've got some music playing that you can't hear that may be available in that other video. So there'll be little things like that that'll be slightly different, but overall, I think it's great. So last time we reviewed Rich Perez on DL Cummings' show, Liberty Dad Pod, or is that right? Yeah, Liberty Dad Pod, and we watched him. We watched him give some hardball questions for Rich, and we reviewed his answers. And so today we're going to continue that series, and we're going to go on. There we go. Let me see. I moved my desk away from my camera, so when I hit my desk, maybe it won't move my camera so much. But today we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to look at Krystina Baxter's interview. So I guess one other thing I want to do a little different this time is say my biases up front and all that, so there's no confusion here. But I like Krystina. She does an excellent job. She's probably one of the most crucial people to the success of the LPF, and people don't realize it. And she doesn't get enough credit for all the work that she does, all the committees that she serves on, all the work and effort that she puts in. And so I have very great amount of respect for her and what she does. So obviously I support her. Again, with all these candidates that he's interviewed so far, all of these are candidates that I personally support. So I'm not watching these videos to tear them down or call them out or anything like that, just to provide another perspective on the answers, give some of my own answers or what I think they would be. But it's more of like I don't know, like an interview, an interview prep or something like that. Like, hindsight's 2020. Monday morning quarterbacking is really easy, or Tuesday morning quarterbacking if you watch Monday Night Football, whatever. The day after the Super Bowl, everybody knows what they would have done or what they should have done. And so, I don't know. We do that here. We have a little fun while we do it. And, and then I try to give some more insight, maybe some things that maybe the candidate doesn't know or the interviewer doesn't know. And then when possible, I try to critique DL because that's always fun. All right. So without further ado, let's pull up here. I want to do these live though, because I would like for there to be, no, that's not what I want. I want to do it like this time. I would like for there to be some commentary, some back and forth, and we can pull comments up and things like that if y'all have interesting things to say. But that's why I want to do these live and not just record them myself. But anyway, again, I'm distracting myself. Let me cut my own music off. And without further ado, let's get into the DL Cummings interview of Krystina Baxter for Region 7 Rep. You need like a countdown sound. That's what we need right there. There we go. Let me know you can hear the audio. I'm sure you can, but, test the chat button out. See how that works. I do like this intro. What? I didn't notice that before. Has the door closed always been in there? Delay. There it is. Oh, no, there's no audio. There it is.
Welcome to episode 92 of the Liberty Dad podcast.
God
where
damn,
we
dude.
Prepare for tomorrow's political conversation by how we engage today. This episode, I interview Krystina Baxter for Region 7 Rep of the Libertarian Party of Florida. These interviews are intended to be tough, And by tough, I don't mean hostile, but
We're going to see if they're
candidates will
tougher
be
than they
put
were
in the
last
hot seat.
time. Don't give
Why
them
would I
the
do that?
answers.
Well, I feel interviews are often either too soft or too hostile.
Okay.
They focus on what we like or dislike about a person rather than whether they can communicate their fitness for a role.
Sure.
Dale Carnegie once said, there are always 3 speeches for every one you actually gave.
Are you going to give
the one you practiced, the one you gave.
DL, do you give the same quote at the beginning of each interview?
And the one you wish
Maybe.
you gave. Interviews are similar.
It's a good quote. I'm not taking away anything away from the quote. But
I once had
for somebody who's going to watch all of these,
multiple people. As I left, I was feeling like I missed the mark on several answers. And then as I drove away, it all caught up, and I realized I really missed the mark on some questions. I immediately pulled over and pulled out my phone, punched out better responses to every question that I could recall, sent the email, and hoped for the best. I didn't get the job, but I did indications of leadership and.
All right, so from now on, we're going to skip the beginning part because this is a rehearsed speech that DL has given multiple times, and I don't want to sit through the same thing 5 times so far. And then whoever else he interviews as well.
How we interview with communication. With that, let's dive right in and hear from Krystina.
What's up?
Krystina,
doing good, DL. How are you?
Very well, trying to get this show all worked out correctly and properly.
Me too, brother. Me too.
I've got it all figured out for now. So had a couple errors earlier, but no big deal. So, but we have managed to make it. So you are running for the Region 7 rep role. So let's just dive right in. And before we talk about the role, let's talk about you. And let's go ahead and introduce you to anybody that may not know you or tell us something that you don't think we know.
Krystina is awesome, and she does so much of the background work that she doesn't get enough credit for. Did I say that already? Because that's what you don't know about her.
Okay. Well, like you said, my name is Krystina. I've been a part of the Libertarian 2020 in the Joe Jorgensen campaign. But as far as being a libertarian, it's something that's always been part of me. Not necessarily specifically as a libertarian, but as far as my mindset and how I was raised. I was raised by my retired grandfather. Now, he was retired from both the U.S. Army as a Korean War veteran and also as a police detective in Jersey City.
Jersey.
He spent his
2 interviews down and 2 Jersey people.
In an authority thing.
What's happening here?
That was his
this is supposed to be the Florida party.
Even when he went home, when he went to deal with his children, he was always hard and stern, and that was his life.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, it comes to his life and his retirement, and he doesn't have his wife anymore, and he has his 30-year-old Down syndrome son, and then he has his granddaughter. And he has no idea how to deal
Is she
with
the granddaughter?
and how to
I wasn't following.
And it changed his perspective on a lot of things.
Right.
He's the person who inspired me to be
No, that was her dad, right? Yeah.
He's the one that taught me how to be questionable of the law, not necessarily to not want to be like anti-authoritarian necessarily, but how to
does his interviews on Zoom.
Somebody
we
who
got
has
him.
your best interest at heart versus somebody who's trying to pin something on you.
Right.
Okay.
As far as that delivery and how to judge people, how to be a good volunteer. Like, I've been volunteering since I was 5 years old, handing out Girl Scout cookies.
Well, that's why it comes so naturally to her. She's been doing it forever.
Came from the way that he raised me, but he didn't raise his own children in the same image. Because with me came his great awakening. I was basically his red pill, I guess would be the way that we would that in terms of the world today.
Okay,
gotcha.
So I carried that along long past when he was gone. My first introduction into actually who libertarians were was 9/11/2001.
Okay.
My first few days of high school, and my science teacher, my biology teacher, he was a libertarian, and he wasn't the kind of guy who talked about politics a lot. Like, there was a theme going on the rest of the year that it wasn't his thing to like push his ideology, but you
just had to check and make sure the audio was actually going through. It is. These
and that's the kind of guy that he was, and a lot of the life lessons that he taught me, like I don't remember a lot of things about biology, but I sure remember Mr. Stevenson.
Right.
So I'm like conflicted because I kind of want to skip like these like introduction pieces because I feel like the question like how did you become a libertarian or how did you find libertarianism, that question gets asked so often, and the stories, everybody has their own unique origin story, but they're always so like, I don't know. I feel like I've known her long enough. Like it's interesting, but it's not interesting. I don't know. Like I feel like I should skip those parts of the interview because we want to get to the meat. We want to get to the tough questions.
And
but we're doing
when
it.
we got to the point of high school, I was in more of the anarchist's mindset. Like my vote.
I still haven't gotten there.
Mm-hmm.
My vote didn't have a voice. I didn't really feel that my perspective was relevant in the political sphere until
I guess
had
like
children of my own.
Right.
I guess I would have more
And with the
anarchist
lockdowns and
tendencies,
everything
but I
going
just
on
don't
in
like that
2020 and
label.
how
It's so
crazy the
bad.
world was, that kind of pushed me into getting
It's not
more
accurate.
involved. And there is no other home for me other than the Libertarian Party.
I agree with that 100%.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a very interesting. I don't think my story is, at all as interesting as that.
Right.
But I will say this: it seems to be the first story that I've heard from someone else who doesn't have the typical Ron Paul story, unless you just did mention it. So, but it seems like a lot of people came in through Ron Paul, which I am not knocking whatsoever. It's just
you watch your mouth, son.
when you're not somebody that came in through that path, it's and then you see a lot of people that did. It's you kind of wonder like, did I miss out on something? And I'm old enough to have, right? So it's not like I'm
talking about like stories like that. Like, I missed the Ron Paul 2008, 2012 thing. I didn't find out about Ron Paul until 2013. And then I was super disappointed that he wasn't running again.
It's not like I'm not old enough to have, been around. All right. So we're going to talk today about your
Let's do it.
Your Region 7 rep
Here it
role.
comes.
So you ready to be in the hot seat?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Sure.
I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
Well, let's dive in. So I did a little bit of research, and I was actually a little surprised. So tell me if I got it wrong. But you are the Secretary of Volusia County, and you are the current Region 7 rep.
Right.
And then you are also on the Communication Convention and Membership Committees for the state party. Is that
she
correct?
does so many things.
That is correct.
All right. So you've got a lot going on.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's start with the Secretary of Volusia County. I know this isn't quite, I don't want it to be just the Region 7 role, like, oh, we're only going to talk about, either what you did or what you plan to do. But I also like to get a sense of, some of the things that you have done or, if they were in the last year. I mean, I don't want to know. I'm not going to dig in and say, well, what did you do 10 years ago? That seems absurd. But so I think everybody knows what a secretary generally does in an affiliate.
Minutes, roll taking,
and people might recognize that sometimes an affiliate, maybe people fill in more than one hat, just because they're smaller.
Absolutely,
and maybe it's the person that's also doing the treasurer, whatever. So let's do this. Name something that you think you did different than other affiliate secretaries. Just anything. It doesn't have to be tough. Just something that you think you did that was different.
I did it better.
Something that I think was different.
Yeah.
That is a good question.
Every time we have a meeting, I try to use my little time slot during our meetings to push something new, something different, even if it's not something we actually do. Like the End of Damn Wars, that was one of my main things that I was super excited about. But every time that we get together, I try to say like, hey, let's try something, or let's do this, or this other campaign thing is going on. Like, should we get on board? Should we sign on for this? But I'm a creative. I'm always trying to look for ideas and inspirations and try to get other people involved in my crazy ideas.
Yeah, so that's something that goes, I don't know, if you run a committee or you're elected to a party office or something, that's a perk that comes with that position that you don't really notice until you're in the position. Is like a lot of people use those positions to especially on like EC calls and stuff, and we'll review some of those after convention. But those a lot of people use that as an opportunity to grandstand or to promote ideas that they like. And I noticed that first at my local affiliate, that people would be using their time. Um, you're supposed to be giving a report on your position, and people do that. I'm not saying they don't do their job; they do that, but they also take that opportunity to push other ideas. And it sounds like that she does the same thing. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not knocking it. I certainly use that opportunity as well, but it's a perk to the position that people don't really often consider.
Right, right. Well, I mean, you did get me involved with the End the Damn Wars. I believe it was you that
Yeah, that's she's been huge on that. Like, this is what I mean. There's so many things that involved with that people don't recognize because her name isn't like attached to it, but behind the scenes, she's doing so much work.
tagged me on Twitter and got that ball rolling. So kudos for that. And I think that's actually kind of interesting because I think a lot of times, I've been in multiple organizations and I've served at different levels of different officer levels in different types of organizations, like real estate and technology and now in politics. And one of the things that I see that's very common is a lot of people will kind of come in and just kind of do their job in a sense. I mean, they may have opinions about things, but they don't really try to leverage that role, whatever it is.
Yeah, and it sounds like that's what she's doing.
To do something new necessarily. And there are some good reasons for that. In some organizations, it's because it's kind of considered taboo. There's a way that we always do things, right? But that's pretty neat that you take the opportunity to use that role to kind of push new ideas. I like that. So let's move on. And again, we're just kind of getting a sense of some of the things that you've done here. So let's move on. And
Yep.
I want to
What
talk
now?
about the communication, convention, and membership committees.
Oh boy.
Um,
Okay, membership, boring as hell. From what I understand, boring as hell. Convention committee has been a roller coaster, but they pulled through. And communication is just going to be a shitstorm. These are my predictions.
what are the goals of each of those committees? And you don't have to be super elaborate.
Go
just
read the website, DL. Come on.
the general goal of each one.
Well, ultimately, the goal of communications would be the delivery of the message of the Libertarian Party. It's
Okay.
basically and the LPF has had the same brand for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been
The boring
it's
brand?
always about candidates,
Mhm.
and it's always specifically about the Libertarian Party and libertarians.
There's
Okay.
nothing wrong with that, but
One of the things that I really want to see is I want to see more. We're going to focus on the individuals and we're going to focus on the affiliates.
Okay.
Like if
Yeah.
you're familiar with my presence on Twitter,
Mhm.
Facebook,
Right.
I'm always quick to be the one to put out a retweet or a comment or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah.
I want to bring that to where we are, because a lot of everything that we do, whether it's communications or the executive committee, everything that we do is very bureaucratic. You have to ask somebody else's permission.
Yes.
You have to make sure that this goes by our rules, our guidelines, our bylaws, everything. And
Oh, I'm not even
there are too
recording.
many people to please, and libertarians are some of the most opinionated people
Right.
on this planet. So it comes down to how the message is delivered.
Right.
And as far as all of these committees, I've joined so much and got so involved, not because I want to run things, but I want to know how they work. I
Right.
want to know what I can do and how I can be creative to improve upon these things
Right.
as a whole.
Now, is the
And
communication committee, is that something that is responsible for the outward communication and the internal,
Yes.
like public internal? Okay, so the emails that I get fall under the communication committee, making sure that happens. But then if I see a tweet or a Facebook post, that also falls under the scope to an extent.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
gotcha. So if we have beef, so that people, if you got beef, then go to lpf.org and look up who's on the communications committee and then take it up with them if you got beef on the messaging that's coming out on Twitter or on Facebook.
Yeah. I got beef, okay? I got so much beef. All right. Like I get the emails and things, but a lot of that goes to spam, and I spend a lot of time. I spend most of my social media time on Twitter, and our Twitter account talking about LPF Florida is just atrocious. And it's not so much like the things that they post are bad or anything like that, because there are some good posts from time to time. When there's a bad one, I definitely respond to it, and I'm like one of the people in there saying that this is terrible. But uh, more often than not, it's an okay post. But the bigger problem is that we don't post enough. We don't post like nearly enough for, especially for a platform like Twitter. Like if you're talking about something like Facebook, okay, Facebook doesn't reward you for posting a lot. You know, you have to be sparing with your posts, not like super sparing, but like 3 or 4 a day, like max, like something like that, because Facebook prioritizes your feed to the things that you're actually interested in, which is like family and friends and those kinds of things. And they try to limit posts from pages. I don't know if you know that, but that's something that happens on Facebook. So being sparing like that on a platform like Facebook makes a lot of sense. For Twitter, it's a different atmosphere. It's a different algorithm and everything that runs that site. And so you do get rewarded more for more frequent posts, because the most frequent post or the most recent post is the one that appears. Now, Twitter has like other things, like it'll show you in case you missed it. There's a section like that on your feed. As you scroll down, it'll show you some stuff that was popular earlier in the day. And so if you have a viral tweet or something like that, there's a greater chance that someone's going to see it. Obviously, it's viral, right? But there's a greater chance that they'll see it in their recent posts. So we could benefit a lot from more frequent posting. And this is where the bureaucratic crap gets in the way, because I've talked with Krystina about this in the past, and what she was describing there a moment ago. Everything has to be run through committee and has to be, discussed and approved and all that kind of. That's not how you're going to have effective messaging on a platform like Twitter or something. You have to be willing to be bold and take risks and put some things out that aren't exactly perfect, because it's all about timing. It's like comedy. It's all about timing. You have to get it just right. Or you don't have to get it just right, but you have to be quick. It's more important to be quick than to have a perfectly crafted joke. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Because I spend more time on Twitter, I'm more critical of their Twitter page. I don't really look at their Facebook page all that much. The emails and things, like I said, they tend to go either right to spam or they get buried under all the other spam emails. And so there's that. And so I want to see more flexible communication. And, Krystina, like she said, she's somebody who's always on Twitter and she's always reacting to stuff and retweeting stuff. And if it were me in control of communications or the committee chair or whatever you want to say, if it was me in that position, my modus operandi, my thing would be to find people who are good on Twitter and who use Twitter actively and just give them the keys and just say, run with it. And then if they post something later that causes an issue or that we're not comfortable with, I mean, we still have the keys. We could still go take it down. We don't even have, and I certainly, I don't know that I would even address it. Like, if somebody posts something that's really bad, just take it down and then talk with that person and say like, hey, this is what this is why we took it down. We don't think this is in the right direction, or this is some guidance. But I've seen it in the past where other people have gotten access to the Twitter account. They've posted something, and then rather than having any sort of discussion about it, that person was just removed access to the account, removed from the committee, not like nothing. They're just like, nope, you're out of here. Goodbye. And like the tweets weren't anything like too abrasive. Like we've never had a New Hampshire or a Kentucky situation where like the entire country's LP is looking at us. Like we've never had a situation like that. But like if somebody were to post something like that, I mean, the correct thing to do there is just to take it down and explain why to that person what should be different next time, and then allow them to grow. But you have to allow people to experiment. This idea that everything we put out has to be like, it's not what do they call that? It's not quality tested, or it's not, what is that, group testing? There's a word for it. I can't think of the name right now, but it's not like we're sitting there and we're putting this through a bunch of different groups of people and having them give their answers to it. And damn it, I really want to know what that's called. It's tripping me up. But The point is, you got to allow flexibility, and our communication strategy would be so much better if it was just so much more flexible. And I think the bigger problem is that people are afraid to take risks. They're afraid that one tweet will take us all down. Like it doesn't work that way. And I don't know. I know what the problem is, but I'm trying to be polite for this interview.
And I think we have an Instagram too. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do we?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't
an
even know.
Awesome. All right. So sorry about that. So if you got more on that one,
Leighton,
let's hear it.
it may
Otherwise,
be,
we
and
can
that's
move on to
okay.
the other ones,
And that's okay.
We'll see what you got here.
Okay. Well, membership is the easy one.
Mhm.
Kind of falls under the same
Easy because it's
category.
boring as shit.
As far as upping our membership, first we need to make sure that we have strong affiliates.
Mhm.
And
Sure.
part of why I want to shift this next term into working with affiliate support.
Mhm.
Because I want, since our affiliates all have autonomy, we don't necessarily use the LPF as a platform that messages our affiliates' messages.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that is one thing that I want to change. But
Okay. So this.
as far as membership committee, I want to.
All right. I am the chair of the affiliate support committee right now, so I can talk a little bit about that. Sorry, got a burp. The affiliate support committee. She's talking about affiliate autonomy there, because affiliate autonomy comes up from some of the critics of the more aggressive things that we've tried to do in the past. And that's just like hosting events inside of a county's affiliate or inside of an affiliate's county. That's the way to word that. And that's not what affiliate autonomy means. I mean, affiliate autonomy is basically saying like the affiliates have the right to elect their own leadership and work under their own rules and all that kind of stuff. And is this check friend or foe? She's good. Chris, I was saying before, Krystina's great. She's going to be running for Region 7 rep. She's a Region 7 rep now. Last year we didn't know anything about Krystina, and then yeah, she's friend. I'll just say that she's friend, definitely friend. But anyway, the affiliate support committee is, yeah, she's saying that what she wants to see there is to see stronger affiliates, and she mentioned affiliate autonomy as being a reason why the communications committee hasn't promoted their events or put on events, or well, she didn't say put on events, but promoted their people or promoted their individuals or whatever. That has nothing to do with it. There's nothing that stops the communications committee from retweeting or sharing or reposting or promoting events or anything like that. There's no rule. Coolio jokes averted. There's nothing. There's nothing about that says that we can't do that. It's strictly a leadership decision, a decision made by leadership. There we go. That's the way to say that. That has prevented those sorts of things from happening.
Help our affiliates and the people that are already here to set up events to inspire.
Okay, there you go. She said it. Yeah.
More members to come and join their affiliate.
And I say that too because I've spoken with a number of affiliate chairs, and every time I ask them, like one of the questions that I ask them is, what do you want to see from the state party? And what kind of support would you like? They say support. And I'm like, okay, what kind of support? Put on events. That's like one of the number one things outside of give me money. The number one thing is we want to have events. We want the LPF to come here, sponsor events, put on events, and just draw people to the affiliate by doing those sorts of things. And so this idea that there's affiliate autonomy, like there's affiliates aren't out there saying, get the fuck out of my yard, LPF. Like they don't do that. They want the opposite. They want you to come in. They want you to spend some money and try to draw some people in. That's what they need. How did you get back from kneeling at the halftime show so quick? I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't even watch the Super Bowl, so I have no idea.
As far as being a bridge between the affiliates and the other individuals that actually like to go out and talk about liberty. Like
okay.
You have 3 wonderful examples of that in your own affiliate.
That's right.
But if they aren't showing up to meetings,
that's not me.
You wouldn't have known
my hair's not blonde.
How awesome all 3 of those guys really are.
Right.
They kind of empower each other. I want to see that grow. I want to see more libertarians supported by libertarians.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be nice, huh?
So I want to help our membership committee to be a bridge to join that together, the individuals and the affiliates.
Gotcha. Okay.
The membership committee needs to be repurposed into being, instead of like right now, it's like a data driven committee where they just like look at trends, they look at numbers, and they report on that, and they show you these graphs and spreadsheets and all that kind of shit. But that's so, there's a value to that, but it's like that should just be a thing that they do on the side. Like the more important thing they should do is membership growth. And how do you do membership growth? By pushing for events and pushing for action and trying to organize affiliates to work together and like those kinds of things. Like to the extent that we should that we even have a membership committee, it should just be an events committee. And so like membership and convention committee could merge, and you can just have like an events committee, and just their main event that they put on every year is the convention, but they organize other events with other committees and with other affiliates around the state. That's something I would like to see, but
And
membership's just
go ahead.
boring.
Yeah, I was going to move into convention committee.
There we go, the fun one.
As far as convention committee, I said it already. I'm a creative to come up with new ideas, and convention is where all the libertarians are together.
Right.
And it's
Super
a
spreader
time
event.
to
Coming
try
soon.
something new and to meet new people and to make those connections and things like that. So I joined convention as initially the main committee that I wanted to join, because I wanted to bring some new ideas to the table. Like, what can we do at convention? What can we do? Who can we bring? And how do we deliver the message so that we're delivering it to all these different libertarians of the different varieties in the same place at the same time?
Right.
And it's mostly about the annual business meeting. That's the whole reason as to why all the libertarians are supposed to be together. We're supposed to be nominating delegates. We're supposed to be talking to each other as far as regional stuff and doing voting for things like that. But it's also supposed to be fun.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to have fun
It's
this
the
year.
business meeting, and we want to try to make it as fun as possible, because some of the business is
Sometimes
we're trying
how
to make
gracious.
all the wording, and then there's a little bit of debate how the wording should be. So I totally understand it, and there's always a place to make sure that the is enjoyable more than just maybe the drudgery of business.
That'd be nice.
So that's pretty neat. And I know that I know that you and I communicated a bit on some things, some different speaking roles for myself and others from here in Duval for the convention. So I can definitely attest through personal experience that you've definitely put in some work on the convention committee.
Yep.
So I'm not as familiar with the other ones, but I'm going to go ahead and see you put in some work there. So let's move
just
on
a little
right now to because I got the hard questions coming in a moment.
Yeah, thank God. Let's get to the juice, man.
But let's talk about the
You didn't
Region
segment
7
this like the last
so
one.
To you,
okay, here we go.
So I did notice that there are only 3 counties that are in the Region 7, and of those, only 1 is currently affiliated. So tell me about the other 2. What's going on?
Yeah, same question you gave Rich. What the fuck are you doing, you failure?
The other 2, previously our Region 7 representative before me, Tegan, she was part of Flagler.
Okay.
But 2020 happened. She had a few people who were interested in making affiliate, but then things kind of fall apart for that. As far as outreach goes, I haven't found anybody in either of those regions yet who are interested in taking the role of putting together an actual affiliate.
It's tougher than people think. Like, no one wants to do, well, maybe it's not tougher than people think. No one wants to do this bullshit.
And they're totally interested in at some point meeting other libertarians, but not necessarily starting an affiliate and getting that.
Exactly. No one wants to do that. That's the bullshit.
But as far as the Region 7 role, that is the only technical role that the region representatives have, is making sure that all of your affiliates have all of their paperwork and
Mm-hmm.
everything filed timely. You're the connection between the LPF and those
Mm-hmm.
affiliates.
Right.
And Volusia was already affiliated. It's been affiliated since like the 80s, I think.
Oh, wow.
It's been around for a while.
Gotcha.
I forget exactly what year they were started, but to be bigger, from my understanding. I think St. Johns County was also part of the region, and they seceded for their own independence.
Nice.
That was before my time.
Nice.
Wow. I know they're in my region now. I was not aware that they were once upon a time in Region 7.
Yes.
Interesting.
I'm sure there's people who can give the history.
Oh, yeah.
Ask Greg. Greg knows.
I know that there's a lot of history in the area, even
Right.
with my affiliate, and how things have changed and progressed with the people here.
Right.
So one of the things that I want to focus on going forward is my own affiliate with the Joe Hanoush campaign. He's running for Congress. He's running for Congress against
Yeah, she
Michael
talks about him
Walsh,
all the time.
Who has his name as the main person signing for wanting to have the draft also for women.
Mm-hmm.
And you can imagine how I would not agree with that.
Right.
You don't want to be
Neither
drafted?
does Joe Hanoush.
Equality.
So that's one of the big things that we're going to be focusing on. We like to do the larger events that are in town and around the county to collect petitions versus the going door to door, because Joe doesn't care how many signatures he gets. He cares about how many votes he earns.
Mm-hmm.
His biggest goal is, of course, getting all of those signatures. But
Yeah.
Joe wants to earn your vote by finding out what you want to see changed and the changes that you want to implement and how he can help.
I've thought about that,
Always
like in the
estimating
past,
what their
like
top issue is, what makes them a voter.
if you're gonna, so like that's campaigning to win, but that's, I don't know that I agree with that. I want to talk to Hanoush. Somebody let him know I want to talk to him about this, because is that really perspective? Like, you tell me what you want and I'll run on that, so you'll elect me. Like, okay, I want everything for free. Like, obviously there's nothing for free, but is that really like the pitch? Like that, does he not have his own ideas? Does he not have his own beliefs and message and mission? Like, I don't know. I've never spoken with him, so that's what I say. I'd love to ask him about that, because that's not appealing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where I want to focus my time and attention, is on his campaign.
So does and I don't want to distract too much with, just add a quick question. Does he you said he cares more about the votes than the signatures, but don't you need the signatures before you can get the votes?
Yeah.
Yes. He wants to make sure that he's talking to somebody who actually can vote for him when he's collecting those signatures.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't give a
And
fuck
as
what
much
I
as
think,
he might
because
be
I probably
interested
can't
in
vote for him.
up to your affiliate to go do something, getting those signatures doesn't mean as much as getting a signature as somebody who lives in Ormond Beach who can actually cast their vote for him.
So my opinion doesn't really matter.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So he's not looking necessarily to just get all of the signatures and say, hey, I'm on the ballot. He wants to make sure that every signature is one of somebody that's going to vote for him.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
That's an interesting strategy.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. I'm not sure that I agree, but hey, Joe's not here to defend himself, so we'll let it be.
You got it.
He may want to. I should try.
DL and I will agree to disagree with Joe,
but not until after convention, because I'm swamped.
Swamped?
I mean, he qualifies until May, so
okay.
There's some time there.
Yeah, maybe I'll have a conversation with him. That would be, I don't have any issue with that necessarily. So, so I want to ask you now about these 5 roles.
Yeah.
Okay, because you've got the region rep, and then you've got the 3 committees, and then you've got the secretary role. That's a lot, in my opinion. And so, I guess my first question would be, do you believe that you handled all of these roles at your best?
Say no.
I believe using them as a learning experience is how I utilize them the best.
Okay.
I didn't go into this term with the idea that I was going to change the world.
Right.
In order to change the world, you have to be able to understand it.
Okay.
So where I was, let's even say a year ago, it hasn't even been a year since we had our last convention because it was June, it's only February. Where I was a year ago compared to where I am now is exponentially more.
Right.
I know more people around the state. I know more people who know how to do the things that I've been involved in these committees with.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how to make those connections. I know who to talk to
Yep.
about things. I've figured out a lot more of the
Yep.
mechanical issues and the technical issues as far as I didn't even know how to use MailChimp 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as a person and all of these things, I feel like I've made a lot of growth.
Okay.
So that having
Yeah.
the chance to continue all of that, I feel like I can do a lot, not necessarily just for Region 7, but for the LPF as a whole.
Gotcha. Do you think it's, or do you think the people that put you there were aware that you were coming in with a kind of you were coming in to learn the job? It's kind of what I heard, and if I misheard, then correct me. But do you feel that the people that put you there in all the different roles, because I believe it's the executive
Yeah.
committee that adds you to the committees, correct? It's not.
Yeah, the executive committee adds you to the committees. That's correct. Yeah, I think we'll see what she
Committees
says. I have
themselves,
my own
right? It's the
answer.
executive committee that votes you in,
Yes,
right?
technically it's the chair of
Okay.
the Libertarian Party of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong. Technically, the chair tries to add you, but the executive committee approves you.
Like when I signed on committee, initially it was because there's a minimum number of people that need to be involved in the committee
Mm-hmm.
in order for the committee to function properly and votes and all the technical stuff. So
Right.
originally just wanted to do communications and convention.
Mm-hmm.
And then I added that third role, which it's once a month, and we meet and we talk about all the statistics and all the things that we can do. And Dr. Mejias has done some pretty cool stuff up there in Duval as far as things that he wants to do. I know that he's spoken to you,
I'm sorry, Doctor Who?
Dr. Mejias.
Are you talking about Ricardo?
Yeah.
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 Oh, okay. I was like, that name kind of sounds familiar, but I was like, wait a minute. And I don't think I knew that he was doctor. I was not aware. We just call him Ricardo around here. So, yeah. So what was Samuel like going? So I just didn't recognize the two different names. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, because I know that he's on the membership committee.
Yes, he's really good with statistics and data
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff that I'm not good with.
Right. Yeah, he just sent me some information for the Region 5, some information for voters so that we can start reaching out, because we're getting ready to do a push in our own affiliate where we reach out to Duval members and let them know that there's a party that's active and doing things and that would like their participation. And so we're going to be doing some door knocking, some phone calls, some emails, some letter campaigns, some snail mail. So we've got some things ahead of us. It's just now trying to figure out how to eat that elephant right now, because there's 2,700 people that are registered libertarian,
One bite at a time
in Duval. And so the question,
wait for it.
yeah, and the question is like, okay, you can't necessarily email them all because you don't necessarily have all the emails. You can't call all of them because you don't have all the numbers. And even if you did, that would just be very difficult. It's even worse to talk about going door to door, right? So we have to do a mixture, and we have to try to figure out what do we got and how do we kind of do this in a structured way so that it's effective and that we're not just kind of throwing stuff at the wall. But anyway, all right. So you've kind of established that the people that have put you there, whether it was by vote, so like say the secretary or the region rep, or by appointment, the committees, that people were familiar. You believe at least that they were aware that you were coming in and like saying, "Hey, I'm not terribly familiar with a lot of these things, but I'm going to do my best." right?
Yeah, I don't think it matters that much that people look at these positions with like that you need like some sort of requisite to do it. And what I try to tell people, I'm going to get this
Okay.
screen share off there. There we go. Give her a different face to pause on. I don't think people they take it it's not that they take it too seriously. I don't know what the word is. Like they're too hesitant. They don't believe in themselves enough, something to that, because like when I look for somebody to head up a team or a committee or something like that, I'm not necessarily looking for somebody who has a bunch of experience in that thing. So like if I want somebody to run communications, yes, I would like somebody there who has an idea of a marketing background or understands marketing to some degree, or understands the modern landscape of social media and those kinds of things. I definitely think there's a value to that. However, that's not the primary thing that I want in somebody who leads one of those teams or committees. I want somebody who's going to be there who can want somebody there who can be a leader, and like Rich was saying in his interview, to know what he doesn't know, and to not be the egocentric guy who's going to come in there and say everything has to go through me and everything has to be approved by me and my signature has to be on every piece of communication that comes out of this committee. Like somebody like that is going to stagnate a committee or stagnate a team. It's going to make that team ineffective. And so I think when people look at joining committees, they're like, oh, I have no idea. Like for convention, well, I've never organized a convention before. Well, that's okay. There's other people on the committee who are. What they need more than an experienced person is a willing person, somebody who's willing to learn, somebody who's willing to participate and volunteer their time, effort, and energy into making a successful convention. You don't need to know all the ins and outs of whatever it is you're doing. You just need to have people around you who do, and you have to have a willingness to participate. That is the biggest thing that we're lacking right now. And I think and this is what I mean, I think that some people they want to join committees, they want to help out, they want to participate, but they're nervous in doing so because they don't know what they don't know. And they take it it's not that they take it too seriously, but they just they're scared of it. And I don't understand why. It's a scary thing, I guess, to be put in a position where you're responsible, but you have to take that leap and realize. Like one of the biggest growth things for me personally was realizing that nobody knows what the hell they're doing. Nobody knows anything. We're all just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what happens. So accept it, go in knowing that, and just try and see what happens. You'll fail, you're going to make mistakes, and that's all good. But, eventually you'll figure it out. Yeah. Anyway, I was trying to hit spacebar, didn't work.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm the kind of person that says there becomes a point when you're doing too much. I'm not going to say that that's what's going on here. Okay. But that's the basis for my questions. Okay. And it's not to say that I assume that either. I'm just saying that when I start hearing
she
lot
does
of
a lot
roles,
that's for sure.
I immediately wonder, like, is it too much? For some people, it's not. There are some people that are just insanely productive. And you're like, I want whatever cocaine you have because that's what I want, right? Like you see people. I mean,
I don't think it's cocaine.
I think that's the one thing that we need to realize is that just because somebody's fulfilling a lot of different roles doesn't mean that they're necessarily dropping the ball on all of them. Right. But they might be. So I think it's, I think we kind of gotta, we gotta find out.
Say what you mean and mean what you say, DL.
My biggest concern is not that like somebody's not going to do a good enough job. It's actually burnout. Because I've watched people get burnt out by trying too hard.
Yep.
And then they get too frustrated because they're doing too much and other people are not doing enough.
Heard that.
Right. So I think that can be a bit of a problem. I mean, I love the idea of people.
Best way to handle burnout is to take a fucking break. Just turn the shit off. Like everything will be fine. Don't worry. Just take a break for a few days. You'll feel much better.
Coming in and just maximizing their work. And if maximizing is one committee, or 4. Like, hey, whatever it is for you. So let me ask you, what role in which one of the roles of the 5 roles do you feel like you had your biggest impact? And then I'm gonna switch it up.
I'm gonna say convention because I keep like pausing for her. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say convention is gonna be her answer because again, membership is boring, communications is bureaucratic, and so I'm gonna say. Let's see what she says. Because region rep, like she said, like region was already affiliated, so can't really have much impact there. What was the other? Oh, the secretary role. Yeah, another. Yeah, no, it's got to be convention. Let's see.
Ask you for your least impact.
Least impact. Oh, the least one is hard, but I say the most impact is convention.
Well, I think that the convention this year will tell you a lot of that.
Okay.
I
Got
guess
it.
maybe withhold your judgment until that because
I'm not judging now.
a lot of work into the convention committee and to try and make things happen and to try and make it so that we're highlighting Florida libertarians. It's easy to call up a bunch of libertarians that live far away and say, hey, come get drunk with us and talk to us.
Hell yeah, brother.
Right.
It's easy. It's Florida. It's beautiful here. Anybody will come
Right.
here on vacation.
Sure. I mean, even AOC will come here.
Yes.
She's not a libertarian, but
oh, some people say she's a libertarian.
some people are wrong.
She was alluding to a post that was made where they said somebody said that AOC was more libertarian than Marjorie Taylor Greene or something like that, and that post got removed. But then for DL to have that response, that's worth playing again.
Right. Sure. I mean, even AOC will come here.
Exactly.
She's not a libertarian, but
oh, some people say she's a libertarian.
Some people are wrong.
Worth it.
What's not easy is to make sure that you represent everybody in the Libertarian Party equally.
Right. Right.
Oh yeah, good fucking luck.
So my focus with convention is to try and use as many of our candidates, activists, and people that want to be involved as possible. It's not
All right, we got to speed it up
about
because I
having
got
the
to
biggest
leave in like
ticket.
30
It's about
minutes.
sending the best message and making sure that everybody leaves our convention happy, like they saw somebody who inspired them. They saw somebody who they can't wait to link up with and do a social with. They met somebody who makes them excited for liberty. Because I love selling things and I'm really good at selling liberty. And I want to inspire people to do that more.
Sure.
Gotcha.
Hold that best thought and see how I did with the convention to see if you agree with me there.
Okay. So
what's
let
the
me
worst?
stop you right there for just a moment. So when people go to the convention, because at the convention, that's where people are going to vote for you to be the continued Region 7 rep. So when voters are there, and this will apply mostly to the Region 7 people, well, only to the Region 7 people, because I'm not getting a vote because I'm Region 5.
That's right.
So when they're there and they're looking, and they're like, I like the work that you're doing, they should look and say, do I like the variety of people that were presented at convention for me to hear from? Like, that's one of the things. I mean, I know it's not solely on you because it is a committee. So you know, everybody works, you know, the group.
I don't
works
understand
it out,
this question.
right? But that's one of the things that you feel really good about. Like, I contributed, or you contributed to the committee by helping make sure that you had a wider variety of people to hear from. Correct?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And local as well.
Okay.
More local people.
In Florida,
it's less variety because they're all Floridians.
People that are active in Florida
all
that
that.
can actually call on the phone
and
say, we have somebody in our affiliate that really wants to do a gun rights advocate thing. And I know from convention I met you at the gun rights breakfast and you talked about gun rights.
Luis Valdez.
Right. Was that hard?
What? Talking about gun rights?
No, no, gun rights is easy.
No.
Was it hard to find you know, did you have a sufficient selection of people from Florida to choose from?
Twitter helps with that massively.
Okay. So there's plenty of advocates, you're saying, I'm sorry, activists in Florida to choose from. I know you can't do everybody necessarily because, you know, if there's a lot, then you certainly couldn't do everybody, but there's enough, you said?
I think so, yes.
Oh, good.
The more people that I interact with, people are actually excited to
Mhm.
want to get involved, but a lot of people are dissociated with the Libertarian Party. It comes with that election ebb and flow of
Mhm.
being in between, that downtime. A lot of people stop getting involved, or they lose focus.
Right.
And all of a sudden, when all the election stuff is relevant, all of a sudden they're involved again.
Right.
Yep.
But if you follow their social media and follow the things that they're involved in, you can see that they're not actually unactive people.
Mhm.
They're just not as interested in being involved in
Party politics.
I
Yeah,
guess,
because it's
Gotcha.
boring as shit.
Well, I think a lot of people see the party as really a mechanism for voting, or I don't want to say a mechanism for voting, but like it goes hand in hand with voting. So if it's not time to vote, then why should I be involved in the party itself?
Yeah.
Right. Or you, and feel free at any point, if I say something that you think is incorrect, just say, no, I don't think it's the case. I mean, that's very much okay.
Other libertarians are also definitely the reason why people choose to dissociate from the Libertarian Party.
Right.
We are, in my opinion, we're all very open people, willing to dialogue with each other, but we're also very opinionated and set in our own ways.
Oh, absolutely.
You can agree with somebody on gun rights, but then you guys don't agree on another issue, and every time you see each other, you focus on the issue you don't agree on.
Yeah.
Right.
Instead of on the
It
one
is
you
kind of
do.
annoying.
Right.
That does happen a
It
lot.
comes to most people who talk to me and are involved in the Libertarian Party with me, they don't know that I'm a super environmental advocate.
Right.
So a lot of my non-libertarian ideas revolve around the planet and restoration of the earth and recycling and all of that.
Can't be friends with you
If the
anymore.
government
No,
is
I'm just
going to
playing.
exist, the government should be existing to make sure that we're preserving our planet.
Right. Yeah. And, I'm a big advocate of saying, step away from online and go talk to somebody, because you'll be surprised at what you find out. More than likely, almost guaranteed, you're going to find out that whatever caricature of that person that you had in your mind has some serious flaws, right? Even if you still end up disagreeing with that person, you're going to say, okay, I still think they're a little bit loony about this idea, but I can kind of see where they're coming from, right? And you don't get that from online. So that's good. Sounds like you're using Twitter in a better way than much of Liberty Twitter, as we like to call it, which is to fight each other. And you're like, look, let me find out what y'all are doing and who to connect with.
I mean, I do a lot of speaking out.
That is the greatest benefit of Twitter. It's so easy to reach people. It has the added consequence of it's easy to shit talk each other, but it is really easy to reach people.
Different other people.
Which is why we should be more active.
Mostly talking into the void, like when Bernie Sanders or Ron DeSantis will put something out, I try to be one of those people that says no, this isn't right.
And we should.
I definitely do my share of trolling on different people.
Sure, we all do.
I try not to make it those people that are in the Libertarian Party.
Gotcha.
There you go.
And we eat our own.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no doubt about that. Okay, and you know what? I think it's really nice to hear that you had a good selection to choose from. Because when it comes to a convention, if we look at it from the perspective of, I would like to have a lot of people from Florida engaging at our big event so that it inspires other Floridians, I think it's always better if we have to turn people away. Because, or turn people down. It's like, if you think of it like a conference,
we're in
right?
the power
Imagine
position.
if I started a conference and the conference was, some sort of technology one. And then I had so few submissions for talks that I didn't have enough people to talk in all the time slots. Like, that would be embarrassing, and it just wouldn't really work. And it would be better to have so many that I could actually be choosy. It's kind of like that whole free market idea. So it's good to know that some of my fellow Floridians are being active enough such that they can be considered for coming and speaking, because I think we should have some competition, and I think it should oh man, I didn't get to speak at the convention this year. Maybe next year I got to step up my game so that, I'll rise above a little bit. All right, so let's talk about your least impact. Which role, any of those that you felt like, hey, you know what, I have.
This is tough. I'm tempted to say communication because I know it's bureaucratically driven, but she has positive impact there. So it can't be that one. And if she says that one, I disagree with her. Yeah, I don't know.
The least impact.
This is going to be tough.
That you could have.
I'm definitely going to say communication.
Fuck!
Okay.
I disagree with you.
I'm not an effective communicator.
Wait, why?
Communications.
Okay.
And it's not because I'm not an effective communicator. I'm not necessarily the kind of person that can communicate with everybody if it's not on my terms.
Okay.
And trying to message as a group, a collective,
Mhm.
without getting input from other people,
Hmm.
I don't know how to message and expect to deliver an appropriate message.
Okay.
If I can tell you my opinion, but I can't tell you that other people, whether or not other people agree with it, I don't want to put that out as my opinion is sovereign and
Right.
within the party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Twitter was really the only thing from communications that I have control over is our Twitter. But I also have a lot of restrictions when it comes to that. And
Yes.
a lot of my expectations of how I wanted to be involved were not able to be executed. Like the platform that I use our Twitter for, I can't make polls. It's very difficult to do lots of different things, like even just replying to somebody's tweet. Like I have to go into three different things. Like I can find it on my phone and just tweet out to somebody. But if I want to use the LPF Twitter, I have to use a different platform because it's a shared account.
Okay.
Yep.
And also, I'm not allowed to put different things, like I'm not allowed to be as edgy. Like everybody on Twitter is always talking about the messaging and how they want to put out radical messages, or they hate radical messages.
Right.
Anthony Welty put out a clip to me recently that said that the LPF has not used the abolish on Twitter, on social media,
There we
since
go.
2018.
There we go.
I think we should abolish all of it.
Okay.
But I put that message out there.
Okay. So give me a little bit more.
And this is what I mean. She's saying that she has like no impact there, but it's a positive influence. That, I mean, because you can't affect the change because you're not the chair. Like maybe that's what she's getting at, is because she can't do things without that oversight, and maybe that's why she says she's the least effective in that role. But no, like without her, we would have even less, and that's bad.
Or if you can, clear idea of what your restrictions are. And I don't mean the technological ones. I mean, like when you're thinking about a message,
Decisions.
what are some of the limitations that you're facing?
Leadership.
Everything has to be on brand,
Okay.
and it can't be, if it's not specifically tailored to the Libertarian Party of Florida, I can't put it on our social media. For
Oh, please give the one I'm thinking.
example, we have some people who are really good at organizing protests and rallies and stuff like that. But if it involves another, like the Republican Liberty Caucus, or it involves the NRA, for anything like example, if our name is not the main brand of it, we're not allowed on our social media.
Gotcha. So let me ask you then, whose direction is that? Is that something that was voted, or is that something
Say his name.
If people wanted to change that, how would that happen?
You would need to change the structure of the communications committee entirely.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's coming from the committee itself, or is it coming from the executive committee, or?
She's so polite.
Before my existence.
Okay.
I guess would be the right word.
Okay.
And it's not even necessarily that the people involved with the communications committee specifically are against certain things. They just don't know how quickly media works anymore.
Okay.
Everything happens.
These
in
old
real time,
fogies.
You have to talk to somebody, and you have to make sure that you're doing everything right.
Okay. Gotcha. No, I'm asking because if people are watching, or when people watch it later, I think it's always wise if somebody says, you know what, I don't like that. I would like us to be able to have faster, quicker responses that are maybe a little bit more open. I do understand limitations. I don't think it should be a free for all. Go to New Hampshire for that, right?
I don't disagree with
but I think it does kind of hamstring people a little bit if you're not careful.
This is what I was talking about earlier.
How come we're not putting out this messaging, and maybe you get the backlash, even though maybe it isn't you.
Yep.
Right. Maybe you're like, look,
we know it's not you, Krystina. We accept that. Stay there. You're doing good.
Put in here, I can't just do my own thing. I would like to be a little bit more vocal about certain things, but for one reason or another,
one reason.
It's not. I cannot do that. I think we just need to know, like, who is it? Like, do the members talk to the communications committee? Do they talk to the chair? Do they start sending letters to the executive?
It's the chair of the communications committee, no doubt.
Committee, like, who is it ultimately that makes this change?
You need to get involved with the committees themselves.
Okay.
If you want your message put across, you need to sit and, let's say you're somebody who's good with graphics.
Okay.
More people.
Yes, and okay, she's getting on to a good point here, so I'll back up so she can point. But it's not entirely correct, because the joining the committee doesn't mean shit if the person in charge of the committee can just veto all of your decisions. Like, imagine like you join the president's cabinet and you have all these great ideas about how we're going to pull our troops out of the war and all this kind of stuff, but they're still the commander in chief and they still deploy the troops. And there's nothing that you can do on that board to make a difference. And if you want to have like a meeting within a committee and the chair doesn't even want to hear the question, or will take feedback about the question, but won't, if the chair disagrees with it, it just doesn't happen. And so being a part of the committee and being able to help and being there in the room to have a positive influence like she's doing is great, but it doesn't matter if the person in charge doesn't want it to happen.
Want your message put across, you need to sit and let's say you're somebody who's good with graphics.
Okay.
We need more people to step up and say, hey, I don't have a lot of free time, but I can make 5 graphics a week for you so you have something to contribute for next week.
Right.
Or somebody who's good at finding articles and like they spend a lot of time reading the news. Like somebody's going to pick and cherry pick just articles. And it doesn't have to be one person who every time they find something on the internet posts it and just puts their opinion.
Yeah.
It
right.
should be, everybody should be playing to their strengths. So
exactly.
Is showcasing their own work, even
right.
if it is only one person physically sitting at a computer
right.
that's putting these things out there. It's created by a collective.
Right.
As much as libertarians aren't really pro-collective.
Sure.
If we're putting out a message as a party, we need to have some form of collectivity.
I mean, I hear where you're going with it, and I think a better way to phrase it may not be collective.
Yeah.
The moment we say that, libertarians are going to be screeching. But I think they recognize, and I'm drawing a blank. I know the term that I want. The division of labor, right? If you ask me to design graphics for you, you have divided the labor wrong. Because I don't do graphics, right? Like that's just not me. Or for instance, I'll even give you an example in our own affiliate here. In our own affiliate, where I'm the chair, we have a member who said, do we have a TikTok account? And I said, are you volunteering?
Yeah,
she
no
she
shit.
Said, sure. And I said, because I can tell you right now, I've seen the stuff that I see coming out from TikTok that I find enjoyable. That's not stuff I could have come up with. It's just not. I like it. It's cool. There's some funny stuff out there, some little, like 30-second skits or whatever. And it's amusing, but I'm not going to be thinking of it. And then, so we got her set up. We actually got
Everybody's got ideas. No one wants to do the work.
A TikTok account for our affiliate. And she sent a video there's a chat. There's this messenger chat that we all have where we kind of talk about things that we're doing or whatever. She sent a video and she's like, yeah, put out this video. And I watched it and I was like, right. And there was nothing wrong with the video. I was like, I don't understand this video. Like it wasn't anything bad. And so I was like, what's going on here? Like, cause I don't get it. And she explained it. And then I was like, oh, okay. I get it now. Seems a little weird to me, a little silly, but whatever. Like it was nothing harmful whatsoever. I mean, it was very clean. But apparently it was, just something that was trending. And I think that we need to start really recognizing that it's not collective. It's the division of labor. If somebody's good at speaking, then get them to speak as much as you can. If somebody's good at writing, get them to write. If somebody's good at graphics, do graphics. If somebody's good at organizing, whatever, all over the place. And I think that's, for a party that prides itself on being all about economics, the division of labor shouldn't be that hard. I'm just saying.
Shouldn't be.
Again, it comes with that activism burnout too.
Right.
You look, most of the people that are really good at liberty are not part of the Libertarian Party, or at least they don't use that as their platform.
Which is why it's stupid to restrict all the things that we put out to only things that have our name on them. Like, fuck, dude. There's so many good people for liberty that we could be like promoting and elevating and collaborating with and doing all these things that aren't necessarily with the LPF. So having somebody in charge who makes this arbitrary rule that we can only put out things branded LPF stymies the entire endeavor.
Gotcha.
Like they'll find and they'll make a PAC, or they'll do it through a caucus, or
right.
they'll
You're
do
goddamn
it
right
through
we will.
a nonprofit organization. They'll find some other avenue in order to use that. And as the way our communications and our system is set up within the Libertarian Party of Florida is that once you're doing those things on your own, it's no longer our brand. And then it becomes a gray area of whether or not we can even promote those things.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's, thank you.
I don't want to bash
she did
the
it better than
LPF.
I could.
I think there's a certain reality of making sure that we don't just let loose, but it seems like it's very difficult to find a proper balance of, let's keep control here so that we don't fly off the handle. But at the same time, let's not keep control so tightly that we're consistently behind.
It's not that difficult at all. Like, look at that recent tweet that, was it New Hampshire that put it out? The one that was on, was it the first day of Black History Month where he was like, you guys know the tweet I'm talking about. The one where he said something to the effect of like, Black people probably owe more than more than white people to society or something like that. That tweet that pissed everybody off, and it pissed off everybody like in the Mises caucus and everything else too. The tweet was deleted, right? That's how you deal with it. Like, give people the room to experiment and put things out. And then when they cross the line, you remove the post and then you address it one-on-one with that person. Doesn't mean that they necessarily need to be removed for a single infraction, but you just discuss it with them and then you move on. Because now, like, people remember that tweet because it went viral, but it's not something. There are people out there that will hold that against them. But the majority of people who are not this involved with the Libertarian Party just don't even know that it happened. Or if they do know that it happened or they saw it when it happened, they completely forgot about it and just don't give a shit. Like, people think that you're going to send a tweet that's going to tank the party for the next 50 years. And that's just not how it works. And so we don't have to be so cautious. We don't have to be so restrictive. We do need to correct our mistakes when they're made, but we have to allow room for those mistakes to happen because sometimes those mistakes are brilliant and they can change everything.
And I felt like that in my podcast a time or two back in the day where I would try to keep up with maybe the new happenings and the structure of my podcast. Was that I couldn't put out material quick enough because of, I've got a regular life, I've got, work, and then I've got the time that's needed to invest into putting it together. And I'm a one-person show, one-man band here. So I don't have those kind of restrictions. There isn't any like, I need to get an okay from somebody or all I got to do is decide that I want something. And I was even having trouble sometimes putting out content as well. So I can certainly understand that there is a real honest challenge here. So that's great. I'm glad we had that conversation. I do want to kind of shift gears a little bit here and move out away from these committee roles. I think you have established that I'm sorry, what did you say your least impact was?
Communication.
That's right. Yeah.
Wrong.
We just talked about that. I was thinking of something else.
Wrong answer.
So you've established, your biggest impact. You've established your least impact and where those were. But I think you've established that you've been able to function in a way that isn't that doesn't drag everybody else down. It sounds like that to me. So let's talk about Region 7. So you've been in Region 7. So what have you done that you're proud of for Region 7 in this last year? You were here the whole year, right? You were voted in a year ago, correct? I'm correct on that? Okay, yep. So in this year, what did you do that wasn't present before then? I told you it was a little bit tough.
It should be an easy question, but I kind of followed everybody else's lead this year as far as what they wanted to do. Does things a little bit differently. We hold our officer elections in January, and then in February we vote on our agenda for the year. So all of the big events that we're going to go, we set our budget for.
That's crazy to me, but okay.
So when it comes down to simply doing,
our audio's gone. What happened?
We lost some audio here. Hold on for a second. I'm not hearing your audio. Are you here still? Oh, there you are. I wasn't hearing you, so I'm sorry. The last maybe 30 seconds.
Oh, that's a lot.
Let's see, where was I?
You were talking about in January, you decide in February, you decide all your big events for the year.
Yes. So we're about to do that again, and we're going to do, and one of the biggest things that I want to do is I want to get us involved with our local PACs. It's taken me all year, but we finally have the chair from our local Volusia Parents for Freedom has finally decided to join the Libertarian Party.
There you
I'm
go.
super excited to try and get all the school board moms to get more involved with events that we're going to be
There you go.
I've done a lot of outreach whenever I find people to try and get people to join, but as a stay-at-home mom, I don't necessarily always get as much time as I'd like to actually go out into the community and do things. It's like, I love what you guys do up there. I wish I had more time to do things like that here. One of the big things that I want us to try and do this year is to actually adopt a highway.
Okay.
A lot of affiliates do, and we talked about it. We danced around it last year, but that's one of the big things that I want to do and to put in action this year is I want to do more volunteer work.
So is that with the?
I'm skeptical of the Adopt a Highway program, and I wonder how effective it actually is. Like, what is the return on it other than doing something good for your community? Like, I want a little bit more. I want like a recruitment or a fundraising or something for that.
Affiliate or for the Region 7 rep role?
I'd like it to be both.
Okay.
I'd like to figure out where those are that we can fill.
Gotcha. Are you talking about like potholes, like what we did here in Duval?
Jesus.
I mean, if you've got connections so that you can get me to start filling potholes in Putnam County, that would be awesome.
Right.
You just do
one of
it.
the first places I'd head over to is Daytona Beach downtown there. I wish I could just come through with a roller and go down Main Street and fix Main Street.
No, I hear you. Like there were so many. We were very fortunate to find a hole that ended up getting bigger, and by the time we filled it, it was ginormous. So yeah, it was pretty amazing. Okay, so it sounded like there wasn't a whole lot of activity with the Region 7 role this last year.
In general, yes.
Okay.
We once we set our events, then the next goal for me was convention in June.
Gotcha.
Once I got that, and then going over in the summer is where I started learning all of these things to get involved.
But none of that is the Region 7 rep
That's why I
role.
want involved with affiliate support.
Okay.
So that I can use those tools in my own affiliate. And now that I know those things and I know those people, like the people that are good at the different roles involved, how can I get those people involved to help me build the other two affiliates?
Okay.
To make that happen. Even without the people that are registered voters, I've still figured out ways to use the tools that I have at hand, and now I'm ready to implement them.
Gotcha. So do you plan on fulfilling, or do you have any intentions of maintaining the same level of activity in like, say, multiple committees and the secretary role and the Region 7 rep? Do you have that same desire to fulfill those roles or roles similar in this coming year?
Can you hear me? You're frozen on my screen.
I can hear you. You are frozen. And let's see. There you go. You seem to be unfrozen.
There we go. Okay.
Let it go. Let it go.
These technical difficulties are eating up my valuable time.
One more time now?
So this last year, you served on 3 committees. You were the secretary and you were the Region 7 rep role. So I'm asking if you have any intentions of having that level of workload in the coming year.
Yes and no.
Okay.
I don't necessarily want to
Do the same amount of work with less.
I fully intend to stick with convention committee. And I fully intend to stick with the affiliate support committee, which is a role that I wanted to pick up this year, but I already wear all those other hats.
Gotcha.
Getting involved.
So you're going to drop all the other ones?
I couldn't take anything else on.
Membership
But
communication?
I want to take what I've learned from these other committees and use that knowledge in affiliate support.
Okay.
Good. Come on down.
Other libertarians and not necessarily be a voting member of communications, but I want to be continuously submitting my work to communications to get it out there.
Gotcha.
There you go.
And I would want to be contributing to
Weaponize the process.
membership committee by submitting things to let's try this new idea.
Right.
Instead of sitting there and making sure that I do things from meeting to meeting.
Right.
Yep.
Because in a spirit of giving that tough interview, what it feels like to me is that you came in and you said, look, kind of fresh, kind of new, and I'm going to take on some of these challenges and we'll see where it goes. And you learned quite a bit. And so that's always a positive. But in the process, I'm not really hearing a whole lot of, what did you do for the Region 7? Right.
Right.
And so what I'm looking at is you're
She
running
did
for
avoid
Region
that a
7
little
again.
bit.
So now I'm looking at saying,
So
okay,
here we go.
Pull back a little bit. You can say, look, I've learned a lot. Now I'm going to start kind of using that information, the knowledge and the experience that I have. I'm going to use that and now narrow it down a little bit. So let's talk specifics. What should people judge you by in 6 months, 1 year? Let's just go with 1 year. So that, come the end of the year, if you're voted in for Region 7 again, how should people judge you? What are the concrete items that you're like, I've learned a lot.
You're representing the region, so you have to pitch something here that's going to be region specific. Whether it's for Volusia County because they're the only affiliated region, or the only affiliated county in that region, or talking about the unaffiliated counties. But what I think he's looking for right now is something specific to Region 7. So we'll see if she's got it.
Here's how I intend to use that now and apply it.
Well, one of the first things that I want to do is I've actually already crafted a couple of motions that I'm going to bring to the floor. And I didn't really finish them until December time. And the time that we have a new executive committee, whatever happens with the executive committee of the past, you can't carry it over. Certain things have to be voted on again, especially things that have to do with the budget.
Right.
So what I crafted that I'm going to want to be taking into affiliate support is ways that that LPF can get involved with the affiliates and how they do volunteerism.
Okay.
And rewarding them for doing things like you guys are there filling potholes. The motion that I crafted would be that your regional representative would recognize your hard work and that you guys deserve some kind of a reward.
Okay.
But instead of are you familiar with Operation First Step?
Yes, I think.
That's where your affiliate gets money for
Yes.
candidates and
Yes.
things like that. Yeah. It's similar to that, but instead of a monetary donation to your affiliate, it is utilized so that you can have things for tabling events or hosting events.
Okay.
Like, for example, if you adopted a highway, you can file to try and get the money so that you can get the vests that you would need to walk down the highway safely.
There you go.
Instead of saying, did this, here's our hard work, give us $100 for it.
Right. Okay.
I wanted
Again, I'm going to be harsh here. she's missing the point of the question. What are you going to do for Region 7? This is what you're going to do for affiliate support. You get elected to affiliate support through the executive committee, and as a region rep, you could vote for yourself theoretically to be chair of that committee. But that doesn't speak to exactly what you're going to do for Region 7, and I think that's what he's looking for.
Give people opportunities to use their strengths to reward themselves with things.
This is more of a general benefit and things you're going to do through affiliate support
that they can use.
Okay. So you're looking at some motions that would allow you an opportunity as a region rep and others as well to recognize affiliates for the work they're doing.
Yes, and individuals.
Okay.
Like if there's a specific individual that like they have a nonprofit organization that they already work with. Like I know there's a lot of people that do things like the different like the Eagles clubs and the VW, things like that. And through those other organizations, they're still doing volunteer stuff. So I want to be able to recognize those people more, and not necessarily a monetary way, like saying that your VFW membership has nothing to do with the fact that you're part of this affiliate, but the fact that you have a VFW membership and you got your VFW to donate so much to Toys for Tots is something that you used as your initiative to try and better your community. So those things would be nice.
And what kind of support do you already have for that, or people that can make it happen?
I've talked to a lot of people, and everyone that I've talked to that as of right now is a voting member has been super supportive of it.
Okay.
As far as rewarding our affiliates with something physical as opposed to monetarily.
So you think that if the motion were to come up, there wouldn't be a huge debate, and you would largely have the support needed to make it happen?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. I know there's no guarantees, because we cannot ask you to guarantee.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're going to vote on 14 region reps at convention, so that's 2/3 of the executive committee right there, and then a director at large, and then a secretary and a treasurer. So we're going to be replacing 17 out of the 21 executive committee members if everyone loses their seat or whatever. Yeah.
What other people, how they might vote, but I'm just curious about the conversations you've had.
Yeah, which is why I didn't push to put those motions through in December or January. As much as I wanted to, I wanted to start off the year fresh with certain things. Another thing that I really want to do is I want to work with people to try and coordinate more LPF officially branded events. So it's not always just that because we have an affiliate that's in a certain area, they're the only ones that can do an event in that area.
Right.
I want to try and get the LPF to sign off and say, hey, this affiliate wants to do this event, but they only have so many bodies. Let's get some more volunteers going to it. Let's get some more people who are like, for example, the cannabis festivals. There are a lot of people in the state of Florida that care a lot about cannabis, but they might not be the people that are in those specific affiliates where cannabis events are going on. Gotcha. So it's not that we would want to undermine an affiliate and take over their event, but it would be really great to be able to make the connections to take those people that are interested in cannabis law and to make sure that they're at these events with our affiliates.
Right.
It's that the LPF donates some money towards it, or we have that nice branded canopy now. So I just really want us to,
that nice branded canopy's in my closet right over there.
to do more.
Every time I hear it mentioned, somebody come take it from me.
Going forward is to try and find ways to make the LPF more present in Florida.
Okay. Any chance, or can you hear that?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So that would be my son. I've got the door locked, so he can't come in. We will see. We will see if this lasts or not. Toddlers can be toddlers, so I may have to let him in.
Somebody in my lap right here waving at the camera.
I may have to let him in real quick. So I know this is a live stream, but
oh dang it! Come on, we're eating up valuable time.
Yeah, I see.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
I know time is coming up, and I don't want to hold you too long.
He's there.
So what I would like to do is I would like to ask my little absurd question, and at the end of each one of these interviews, I'm going to ask somebody an absurd question. The idea behind it is there's really not
what is the question?
On the feed, and like Google is known for having some pretty weird ones. I'm not really doing it to judge people. It's more of like just to have a little bit of just try to keep it.
What is it?
Hey, buddy, come back over here. One word. So when I say the word statist, what I mean is somebody that appreciates. For anybody that's watching, I'm just going to define one word. So when I say the word statist, what I mean is somebody that appreciates or advocates for more laws.
Okay.
We're just going to keep it really simple. Okay. So that's what I mean when I say the word statist. So how many people, let me see, how do I want to phrase this? Because I didn't quite write it down the exact way that I wanted it. Which takes more to screw in a light bulb, statist or libertarians, and why?
Oof.
I would say libertarians.
Yeah.
Yeah? Why is that?
I think so.
Because the statists would want to make sure that they are focused on a light bulb that's going to save energy, a light bulb that's going to last a long time, and they're going to want to show off their work.
Right.
Libertarians will not let you touch anything until everything is perfect. Everything has to be just right. It doesn't matter how much it costs. It doesn't matter how many watts it puts out. It matters that it's going to be the best quality one, and everybody has their own opinion as to what quality is.
Right.
Very important. It's
Gotcha.
not going to be cheap, it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be effective, but everybody's voice is going to be heard.
That's funny. All right. Well, that's awesome. Again, there was no judgment there on that. It was just a silly question just to kind of end the show a little bit. So final last words. What you got to say about anything that we talked about or anything that we didn't talk about
Let's see how she does
maybe
it.
I missed.
Well, I am really excited to see everybody at convention at the end of the month.
I'll be there. Maybe. If I get my button gear and register.
I thought you were going to ride your bicycle, right?
I was talking about it and nobody took me up on the offer. And thankfully, because it's been a slew of crappy weather and I won't train in weather under like 50.
I don't blame you.
So.
But yeah, I'm super excited to see all the people that I don't get much of an opportunity to see that are definitely all still out there and doing things and advocating for liberty.
Right.
And finding ways to meet up with you and figure out what you do.
Right.
That's me talking to everybody else. What do you do for liberty and how can I help you achieve it?
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, everyone, Krystina Baxter running for Region 7. If you are in Region 7, hopefully you're watching, whether it's live or whether it's later, that's fine. And hopefully you found all the answers you need to decide whether or not that Krystina is the right fit for this role. And as for me, this is Liberty Dad, DL Cummings, and thank you for tuning in. And that concludes our show. So we are out. That's all for this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit that subscribe button and connect with me at LibertyDad on Facebook, LibertyDadPod on Twitter, or send me an email to LibertyDadPodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. To catch Liberty Dad episodes when they air, head over to Facebook.com.
All right.
Free Speech Media. We're the weekly.
All right, we're going to end it there because not only do I have to use the restroom, but I've got to go to work. So overall takes on the interview. Better questions from DL this time. He didn't give her the answers as much as he gave Rich the answers. So positive improvement there from the interviewer perspective, just because I like to criticize everyone, right? I'm equal opportunity criticizer over here. As far as Krystina's appearance, the biggest the biggest wrong answer was her effect on the communications committee, but that's not necessarily a bad answer. That's just her answer, and I disagree with it. I don't know. Yeah, I think the biggest mistake that maybe she made, or the biggest critique I would have of her performance on the interview would be that she didn't address Region 7 enough. She talked about her experience on the committees and her plans for the future committees with the Affiliate Support Committee, but none of that really matters to Region 7. Region 7 wants to know what you're going to do for them. They're the ones that are going to vote for you. And focusing more on that and how you're going to help grow the region. I understand these positions on the committee it has like a feedback, right? Like there's a feedback loop. Like you do positive things on the committee that help everyone. And by the virtue of helping everyone, you're also helping Region 7. But you're elected to a region representative position to represent that region and their interests on the executive committee. And so more discussion about that if you're going to she's going to run, and I'm fairly confident that she's going to win because she's a hard worker. She's super knowledgeable now, especially now that she's had all this experience, right? She's a great person for the role. And so I don't think like we were saying before, like one tweet isn't going to tank your entire party. Well, one interview isn't going to tank your entire campaign, especially in a region where she's super active and everybody knows who she is and everyone has a good amount of respect for her. I think she's going to win pretty handedly her position for Region 7. But yeah, if it were more competitive, that would be my critique of it all. Overall, I think she did really well, though. She didn't have any answers that were like, you shouldn't say that, like Rich did. But yeah, I don't know. It was pretty good. I'm looking forward to doing another one of these, but I really got to go. So I am out of here. And the next one we will be doing, let me see. The next one coming up is the Hector Roos interview, which happened. When did this one happen? I don't know why I do this to myself. Put myself on the spot for things I can't find out right away. Boom, boom. February 13th. So 2 days ago. That one happened 2 days ago. I've got some other things I've got to do tomorrow. So maybe we'll do that on Thursday. And if you see me squirming, it's because I got to pee and I got to go to work and I got to get the fuck out of here. So with that, we're going to end the show. Thanks for tuning in. And we will do